Now seating for Empty Theater Club.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Empty Theater Club, a podcast for people who are obsessed with Jeremy Strong. I'm Val.
And I'm Cam. We're joined today by Kelsey Weekman. Kelsey is an entertainment reporter for Yahoo News. She has written for BuzzFeed News, New York Magazine, Rolling Stone, Billboard, CBS News, and The Daily Dot, just bylines by bylines. She's crazy. And she lives in Brooklyn with her dog and her espresso machine, and she writes about what people are talking about. Those are her words, not mine. Kelsey, thank you so much for hopping on Empty Theater Club. How are you?
I'm so happy to be here, guys.
We're pumped. We love having. I will speak for Cam and I, but we're parasocial besties with you via your work and your bylines. So finger on the pulse, pulse of pop culture, which we love. We can't wait to get into this in this interview.
Yeah. Before we talk about 2024 Kelsey, the icon that she is, what has been your journey to this space? When did you realize you were a little bit more plugged into pop culture? When did you kind of start feeling this is something you wanted to make a career out of and write about?
Oh my gosh. Well, I was probably 13 or 14 years old when I got so obsessed with watching TV. I was honestly before that, but when I was 13 or 14, I discovered Tumblr. And I would spend all my free time, not the cool parts of Tumblr. I would spend all of my free time watching TV and then going on Tumblr and reading posts about my favorite shows. And as I got older, I started making GIFs of them and screen caps and all these other, what feels like kind of the bedrock of television and movie fandom.
The things that I reblogged, you made. This is what I'm hearing.
Yes, exactly.
So, thank you.
Yes. So my main, to give you a sense of the time period, the most important things on TV at the time were on NBC at night, they would have The Office, 30 Rock, Community, and Parks and Rec all on the same night. And it was can you imagine imagine that today?
Yeah, no. Well, whatever happened to sitcoms, man?
I know.
Crazy. It was back to back to back, the 30 episodes per season. They were working. They were feeding us.
They used to give us so much stuff. But so I would make GIFs and post about stuff like that. And then from there, I went to college and I was I really only want to do this for the rest of my life. Ultimately, I was I knew I liked writing, but I really just wanted to be a fan. And I started applying for jobs. I was studying journalism and I was I applied for this job at Mashable that was a web culture intern. And so I'd be writing about the internet. And I was okay, well, I don't know a lot about that, but I spend a lot of time on the internet and I can make a GIF. And they were you can make a GIF.
Oh, so what's
down. You can make a GIF, come on down. And so I did, and that was my first internship. And then, that just kind of started my career in journalism, which I did. I've done a lot of things. I started as kind of a general assignment reporter. After that ended, I was kind of I took a break from being super online and I'm just very into the news. And I had a couple different jobs. I worked at Billboard and at CBS. And then ultimately in 2020 during lockdown, I was I really just think I like watching TV. I really just think I
you love a screen.
Yeah, you kind of
arts.
Right. I kind of regressed and was when I was at my happiest, I was just watching TV and making content all the time. And so I became an internet culture reporter, specializing in kind of how we talk about fandom and the internet. And I had a couple of those jobs, but now I'm fully officially an entertainment reporter. I feel it's what I have been working up to my whole life since I was a teenager. And it's the best job in the world. It's so great.
Yeah. Val and I joke that we're professional fangirls. That's our dream job. But I think you
actually this is our whole ethos. We're wait, someone's getting paid for this? That's crazy. No,
but it's really for you. Watching TV and watching movies and consuming media, there is about I think you can meet people who aren't my parents don't get it, so then there is something to it that I think you can tap into the of it. And it's beautiful. It is a beautiful thing when you have that love for something. It's
Thank you. And I try very hard to I try very hard to do like even when I'm not the biggest fan of something, I've like really enjoyed the beauty of other people's fandom. So I might not be the biggest Yellowstone fan, but boy do I know everything about that show because I know other people do.
You said finger on the pulse. Well,
Yeah.
that's what I feel like I resonate with like that statement, because I feel like for a lot of people, you don't have to like something. They think these things are mutually exclusive, that if you like something, you know everything about it, and if you don't like it, you can't even acknowledge its existence. But in order to be a hater or a lover, you have to know what you're loving and you're hating and you're consuming.
You've got to be educated.
You have to. Education is so important. It's open the media schools. Yeah, so I really appreciate that. Even if you don't watch something religiously, you'd never know in your writing. I would think that you're plugged every.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Super
well, but then like, how do you go about like kind of you now in this career? Like you have the It List newsletter that you're contributing to. Like, how do you go about curating stuff when like, is it hard to find kind of talking about things that maybe you're not a big fan of, or are you curating it to just like your number ones, like the things you love?
Oh, I try to cater to like what is the biggest thing happening and like why it's culturally significant. So like the It List is so much fun to write because every week I have the most extensive calendar you've ever seen in your entire life of the new things coming out, from books to TV to movies to music. And I pick 5 things, and usually it's like 4 different categories, and then I get to do like I usually pick a 5th thing that I'm passionate about. So like I know this upcoming week
for me, like
exactly. I'm like, I know this upcoming week, the one that's for me is very specifically Hot Frosty, the Netflix movie where Gretchen Wieners puts a scarf around a snowman and he comes to life and he's hot.
And she said, I went to high school with that girl.
Yes.
Yes.
And Lindsay Lohan's on the TV in another Netflix property.
No, that IP goes crazy in the like 2-minute trailer.
Yeah. But I know, I'm like, okay, well, that's just like extremely fun. I have to include that. But it's mostly like, I know that Shawn Mendes has a new album coming out. That's going to be like what people are talking about. And so I try to have both things that like people know about and are expecting, and like new things that I can introduce them to. And it's very fun.
It's the curation of it. I feel like that's such a fun way to approach pop culture, because I think the way that we all find ourselves as a self-acclaimed critic versus the people who are curating, very different. And that's we're all consuming a lot. We're all in a bubble for sure, but I feel like overall there's just general lessons and general trends in pop culture that we're all consuming, and we all have an opinion. But who's the curator? Who's slowly, pilling us into something new that we don't know?
But that's like why it's like a career, like being able to
that's why
know what things are coming. Like I'm exhausted thinking about it, but like that's impressive. Like that's a skill to be able to look into that and know and be plugged in enough. I mean, I think we would like to pretend that we do that, but we're definitely not even.
Yeah, I'm definitely.
We totally are. Everyone does that on their own level though, because everything we use now is like curated by an algorithm, and it's like if you want anything beyond what a machine thinks of you, you kind of have to be your own hunter and gatherer. It's just my job, which is again the best job in the world.
In the whole world. No, that's so true. I have a question of like, how do you differentiate figuring out like for the newsletter versus assignment, and figuring out, okay, how can I kind of introduce this to the masses?
Yeah, well, I am operating a couple of weeks ahead at all times. Like I was just struggling to think of what was coming out this week because I'm already like past Thanksgiving, and
you're living in Q2 of next year.
I'm 2026. Like,
I'm on a different calendar. But I mean, it has a lot to do with what I think people are just interested in watching and listening to, like in face value, and then I'm thinking about like what I think people would like to know more about and dig deeper into. So I'm trying to think of what my most recent example is. Oh, I just interviewed Hugh Grant for
Yeah.
Heretic, and I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, that's one of the only movies that came out the weekend that it did. Not a super popular weekend for movies. But I knew that people love Hugh Grant, so I was like, okay, we have to talk to him. Get him to spill the tea on why he's always a villain now instead of a
Yeah, the
dreamboat.
typecast. It's like you
Yeah.
live long enough to
So
see yourself
grouchy.
become quite literally a villain.
Yeah. And which he was telling me, he was like, I'm more comfortable doing this. Which and he was like, I don't know what that says about me. And I had to be like, you're so versatile, King.
The range.
Yes. Which is so true. He's phenomenal, like as both like a love interest and also one of the scariest people in a movie I've seen this year. But shout out Heretic.
Yeah.
Okay, Heretic mentioned I need to run to the theater. So I'm like, wait, Heartthrob goes evil? Okay.
He also wears some
loving.
like really good sweaters in the movie that I think are like
Important.
made like
That's so good. Well, what would you say your dream subject is to interview?
My initial reaction when people ask me this is always to say Nicolas Cage.
so fun.
It's because he's busy. He's
Hard one to nail down.
He's a hard one to nail down, and also I'm so fascinated by the trajectory of his career. Every role he's been taking recently has been so interesting. Like Long Legs is so fascinating. Pig, Rumor Pig, Dream Scenario, all like weird but good movies. And then I think of how one of my favorite movies of all time is Moonstruck, in which
I knew you were going to mention it. I was at the edge of my seat. I was hoping. I was like, can someone mention this, please?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought it was Moonstruck or National Treasures Book of Secrets. So those are the two I was waiting to see what was mentioned.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Moonstruck. I have to talk about Moonstruck because that is probably objectively the most handsome anyone has ever been in a movie. And he's really good. Really good. Objectively very good. A lot of really good, strong roles in that time in his career. And then there was that time in the middle where he was a meme.
Yeah. The bees.
Quite literally. A meme.
Yeah, like a GIF.
Those meme apps. When those existed, he was there. It's crazy.
He was there. His face is a stock image in the meme, universe. So I just think that's so fascinating. And I want to know everything about how his mind works. So
yeah, that's a good one.
I'm like happily surprised on that.
What were you expecting?
I don't know. I was thinking I was going probably like down the list of like famous HBO actors. I feel like that was just kind of a
well, you did interview Jeremy Strong. We'll just mention the Jeremy Strong. We'll start our Jeremy Strong corner. That must have been like insane because you're like a huge Jeremy Strong fan. I stalked your Twitter. You said like you had a birthday cake with his face on it, like real.
Yeah, I had an HBO themed birthday party in like 2021. Thank you so much. I was Carrie Bradshaw. My husband was Mr. Big.
God,
he
HBO.
died on the Peloton as like a big performance in the middle.
Yeah.
But he got me a cake with Jeremy Strong's face on it from the episode of Succession about Kendall's birthday.
When he goes, my birthday, fuck you.
Yes.
I post that every year on my close friends story on Instagram. One thing about me, I'm a Capricorn. I'm gonna be posting that.
Exactly. And they were like, we will not print a bad word or a censored bad word. So we just took that off.
We're censored. That's the antithesis of Kendall Roy. Antithesis is we must end the silencing of women.
Poor guy.
But in his own words, Jeremy Strong in his own words.
For me, my Jeremy Strong obsession was like Lincoln, actually. I didn't realize that's who he was in that. And now I'm like, he was so good in that, so cutesy. And then I like how he's so like all of these, he kind of got a little hate train against him for being a good actor, for being method. But then like I'm a big Michelle Williams girl, like every film she's ever been in. And she came out for him. I was like, he seems so sweet, actually, in his personal life. So let's let Jeremy Strong have a minute and breathe.
Yeah.
Let him be dramatic about his job.
Yeah,
Like
he loves to work. What's the
Let him
story? Like
dramaturgically.
he like bankrupted Yale for Al
and
Pacino.
for Al Pacino,
Like the
yes.
drama school. He's just into it. He's kind of the ultimate fangirl, actually, at the end of the day. Like he became an actor. He could meet his faves. And I appreciate that.
That's kind of like how we started this podcast though. So we can meet Kelsey.
Yeah, that's so true. We're like,
we can hang out.
Podcast. We can
life imitates art. Yeah, no, my Jeremy Strong moment was him and Molly's game. That's something
oh my
really
god,
for me. Yeah.
Man, he's kind of everywhere.
Exactly. But people didn't know. But now, you know, that's out the window. Did you see him, Kelsey, in his play in New York?
Yes, I did. Early, but like previews as fast as humanly possible. I was so excited. That was my I think it was technically my anniversary present. But
okay, love is alive.
Yeah, my husband understands. He got me the cake. He got me the he's so good in plays too. Oh, sorry. I'm just like when an actor is like so captivating live in a show that is people talking. Yeah. Listen, there's something special there.
And I'm listening. Yeah, no, I think he's capital M, capital S movie star.
Yes. Yeah.
And I feel like Hollywood's just kind of just now catching up. I think we'll probably be saying this about Timothée Chalamet in the next 15 years again.
He needs to get on the stage. Come on.
He has to get back in his roots. We know he went to LaGuardia.
We know he could perform in front of an audience.
Yeah.
So love that. Well, what like something else you get to do besides interviewing people, which I think Val and I are both obsessed with, is you get to go to award shows. And you get to be on the red carpet and see all the magic.
The glitz, the glam,
the glitz, the glam, the gore, everything else in between.
The Getty of it all.
The Getty is so fun.
The glitz, the glam, the Getty. You're there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So like full circle, what is the first award show you remember? And then like what has it been like now being able to experience that? Especially as somebody who's like a fan of things.
Yeah. Well, it's so funny because when I was a child, I was obsessed with award shows and like why? I have no idea.
Because the glitz, the glam.
Success to me is like winning an Oscar. Like that's what you have to do if you want to make it in the world.
100%.
So this is a safe space.
Yes. Yeah, so I don't know why I was like Anne Hathaway has to win this. No, like I was.
My first memory is Slumdog Millionaire, like on the Today Show after Oscar. Like that's when I came into consciousness as Dev Patel. That I want a copy. Like
that is so beautiful. I remember specifically having to tune in to the Oscars. Like I always would do like blog content and stuff like that, but I remember having to specifically tune in when James Franco and Anne Hathaway hosted, which was a mess, like famously one of the worst Oscars ever.
It's not Anne's fault. Anne innocent. Anne
innocent. Anna's never. She's done nothing wrong.
Anna's always been innocent in every role that she's ever played in, including the Oscars. But please continue.
Yeah, that's the terrible one to be your first one to remember, though. I feel like like traumatic. I'm surprised you stuck with it. That could have ended hopes and dreams. For people.
I was so obsessed with that particular Oscars that we didn't have smartphones yet, but like I had internet on my Razr flip phone and I would use that internet to check specifically like entertainment news and it would rack up my parents' phone bill.
I was just gonna say like,
they were like, what are you doing? I was so amazing. Reading about the Oscars, obviously. That might have been before 2011. I think it was like 2005 when I was doing that, which is just absolutely nuts.
But like Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah.
The more I look back on that,
you were doing press clips. You were doing press clips for Anne Hathaway, and no one told you to.
Yeah.
No one said, "Hey, we need this." You just did it on your own, but that's beautiful.
It is beautiful. Yeah.
So on that second part of the question, so with that being said, your first red carpet, what was that like? What is it like to attend these things now as a fan?
Oh, I mean, gosh, I can't even remember my first red carpet. It was
Okay.
something.
That's
I
so
mean, no, I don't think it was interesting. I think it was like a small. Well, they're all interesting, but it was like a small
Yeah.
event, and my job was like specifically to get one person to talk to me.
Mhm.
And I love red carpets, though. I know sometimes people are like, you stand around a lot, you like don't always get the comments, but it's like there's so much just drama and like
It's camp, it's theater.
production.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
There's
I
you,
love people in headsets, stress.
Yeah.
Oh,
They're
Yes.
running around. They're really stressed out. There's fake
yes.
carpet. I love it.
My most recent red carpet was at the I didn't go to the VMAs. Well, I went to the VMAs. I didn't go to the red carpet, which I'm so upset about because Chapel Roan was in her confrontation bag at that time.
Yeah, you could have gotten
Um,
Yella
She
and
was Joan
I
of
would have been
Arc.
excited. Yeah. It would have been great. Please, Yella.
but I went to the Toronto Film Festival. I went to a
Oh.
premiere of this movie called Eden, which has Sydney Sweeney and Ana de Armas and Jude Law and like all these big names. And no one had the time to talk, so I had like a binder of questions prepared, like because you have your questions you really want, and then backup questions in case the person next to you asks that, and then backups to backups depending on what mood they might be in and what might happen from the first question. And so I was so ready, and then no one came by. I got a beautiful video of Sydney Sweeney walking by, but
my God, you put all that prep in, and then it's just
yeah.
like,
And
okay.
it was gowns, beautiful gowns.
It was beautiful gowns. But it's so much fun, and it's like you also it's kind of, I don't want to compare it to exercise, but it is like you have to like keep practicing to like kind of stay sharp because it is such a specialized skill to be able to like get a celebrity's attention and ask them a question in 2 seconds and then have them leave and that was it.
And with a tiny mic,
Be good content.
that's like a 25-pound like dumbbell. I guess that's like not a lot, but like it is.
Oh my gosh,
book.
yes. But I love it. It's an absolute blast.
Do you like do your like makeup and everything? Like, do you try to look glamorous for it or no? Like, are you like?
Yeah, who does glam?
I would be
I do
doing so much
glam.
glam. I'd be
Yeah.
not.
Sometimes they'll ask you to like wear black or like
Okay.
try kind of look like because I'm not on camera. Some people on camera will like be wearing a beautiful gown.
Yeah.
I think specifically of at the same red carpet, I was wearing like a black shirt and black pants and the most makeup you've ever seen in your life. And then the people beside me were dressed like it was prom, and I was like, interesting vibe.
So we didn't discuss. That's so funny. I feel like that's like it's like what Sephora employees wear, like the all black, and then like a
whole
full
face.
That's
Yes.
what it is. And then you also have like the prom of it all. That's really funny. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
People
and then sometimes
don't know means.
you go to the award show afterwards sometimes too, and then you want to like make sure you blend in.
Right.
But award shows are just I have to talk about the VMAs because
Yeah, let's spill.
I had no idea how much goes on that you don't get to see because like Oscars and you know acting award shows are one thing, but when the whole thing is performances, there's so much like funny stuff like I don't want to be like Shawn Mendes performed and no one could see him, but that is exactly what happened. He was obscured by smoke and no one could see him. I'm rooting for him so much.
Yeah, new album coming out.
Yeah, that also I have a really difficult time existing right now because I am rooting for Katy Perry so much after seeing her perform a Beth. I was like, she invented being a pop star. She's incredible.
Yeah. And people forget California Girls.
Forget their history.
Yeah, but I love when like something brings like a whole lot of talent together to like do things in rapid succession. It's like mainlining everything. It's so
nothing can go wrong. Nothing can.
Yeah, it sounds so stressful to manage, but also like because it is like, I mean, we saw like I'm thinking of SNL with Chapel, like how the audience you could hear, like that's what's so cool about it is a concert. Like there's people in the audience who like jam out and listen. Like,
and that's like a black box theater too. Like these people have.
I know the SNL one. It's crazy that she was that impressive. to hear it. It's just
Oh,
so
goosebumps, our girl. We love her.
well, like let's
I
talk
love
about the Grammys now a little bit.
Yeah.
She's solidifying her spot. You tweeted this, Kelsey. A 1,491% increase in Spotify monthly listeners since April. That is insane.
April.
That's
Since
April is-
April.
not
Like,
even a
April
year.
was
What I think is so invisible string is that she has the song lyrics 6 months since April, and
Yeah.
I'm doing better. I'm like, Miss Girl, did you know?
I just got chills,
you know?
actually. She
Yeah,
is
how-
doing
don't need
A
don't need to be
nearly
hateful when you're-
1,500% increase. It's incredible, and I just think what a beautiful era that we're in.
I know. And the thing about April that was also getting me is that that's not even when she started taking off. Like her Tiny Desk, remember that? And March was in March, and then
It was March,
April
yeah.
was like Coachella, and that was kind of when
Yeah,
the
it
festival
wasn't till, like,
performances.
May, June even. Like, yeah.
But I do think it's I would love to know your take on, I know you wrote about this, but usually sometimes it's hard we have like this big fandom, but then the mainstream, the Grammys, whatever, sometimes they don't
Right.
acknowledge
What's
that.
actually real?
this is-
what are people
Yeah,
actually
she's been nominated for the Big Four. Like, I feel like,
Yeah.
what does that maybe say for the music industry or just reporting on this now, like moving forward?
I think I was not expecting these Grammy nominations at all. I think I got everything I personally wanted as like a human
Right.
being, which has never happened
So
before in my
rare.
life.
That's true. You're like, oh, they actually did a good
So I
job.
said, I'm happy.
I said
Did
to
a
Matt, I was
good
like, I
thing.
don't think it's that surprising, but I guess that's because I was like happy with it, which is a
Yeah.
surprise.
And that's because you guys are like, you got your finger on the pulse. And I think
Yeah.
these Grammys is very,
Except
very
Val was not happy about a certain Grande snub. Obviously, that was not.
was really
Us-
surprised about that.
I was just shocked. I was shocked that didn't happen. Not even a nomination, not even a nod, but she has big
especially-
things coming though. That's why, probably.
I mean,
can't stop-
yeah, with Wicked.
I'm like, why is Yes and dance pop? I'm like, they do a dance in the music video. They do dance, but
They
I
do
don't. That
dance.
doesn't make me feel.
Yeah,
confusing.
I get it.
I think
Yeah.
that her being so locked in on Wicked and not being able to like perform and tour
I agree.
completely overshadowed it. And unfortunately, being top of mind is important for a lot of voters
Yeah.
in the Recording Academy. So that's tough.
Yeah.
I think We Can't Be Friends is like one of the greatest songs ever.
And the music video?
Yeah.
God,
Ooh.
will be studied.
Yeah.
Be studied. That's essential viewing pre-Wicked. I think everyone needs to watch The Wizard of Oz.
That plays before
and
the movie.
and then We Can't Be Friends music video.
Like
in that
when they
order.
used to do the short films before, like the Pixar short films before
Yeah.
Disney. It's not.
That's
but
it.
for music
That's
videos.
my
Yes.
Grammy campaign for her, but it's just before the Wicked.
Yes.
Yeah, but overall, I agree. Like, this is kind of I'm actually
Yeah, I'm
excited
happy with
to watch the Grammys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially like seeing Chapel and Charlie specifically nominated is like it seems like they're being rewarded for their cultural impact because they're not, to me, and based on like the media I consume, they are the biggest artiist right now, but that's not the case for like
No.
the song of the summer was that Post Malone Morgan Wallen song. Like that was the most popular song. And
That
that's
was
not,
like,
that's
But mom
Can't
has
believe
no
we're
idea who
lying.
Charlie XCX
No.
is. Like, would be terrified of. Like, like
but
people.
introduce her to her. Moms need to know more about Charlie
Moms
XCX
need to
because
know.
mom should have been
I'll
at the
play
club.
Apple, actually. Just put her
Yeah,
down.
start with that. That's okay. Lesson number 1.
Right. But you're right. It's kind of like this, not only the music, it's like this, the icon is being awarded a little bit. And Brat Summer as a con. But yeah, even to be, I think it would have been really easy for the Grammys to have not given Charlie as much as they did, because she has such kind of like it's kind of a for them. It seems like something they would turn their heads up at a little bit, like it is
especially
a very
because
album, so
the song Spring Breakers is about committing an act of terrorism at the Grammy.
Like that's like it's not
featuring Kesha. Yeah.
I think it's great though, and I think I'm absolutely like baffled. I had prepared for Beyonce to not get very many nominations because of how she's been treated in other country spaces. But I'm overjoyed about those as well.
I've been listening to Cowboy Carter like every day since Wednesday. I think like literally every day I've listened to it in completeness. So I was like, I'm so pilled right now for it.
Yeah.
Get the noms. I was like, this is not. I don't even think I was like that into it when it came out. But lately, I'm like, this is actually such a good. It's a really good album. She's
Yeah.
she's a queen.
My last tidbit on the Grammys, though, I will say, like, I know we've been burned before, because lest we forget that the 2023 best song, according to the Recording Academy, was Just Like That by Bonnie Wright.
Yeah.
So
I just saw that clip the other day, and the silence, like everybody in the room.
That's why I get a little worried where I'm like, I'm really happy about this. I can't wait to watch.
And then, yeah, that's true.
And then the trauma sinks in.
Hey, no hate to her. It's just
No hate to her.
No, it's very.
I think the votes are just really split. Like
Exactly. No, I think she opened a lot of doors for a lot of female artists, and she is an icon in her own right. But my God, the surprise.
Queen.
It's also Song of the Year is always baffling to me, because I'm like, I know this is it's rewarding the songwriters and not like Record of the Year is like, this is the best thing I heard all year. And song is like, historically a lot of times it's an Ed Sheeran song. Like that's kind of how I think of it.
Or a Bruno Mars.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what have you just been obsessed with lately, Miss Kelsey? What are your hyper fixations? I mean, we need to talk about this actually. We need to address the rumors. You are a certified reality TV pilled girl. Val and I
This is a safe space.
Val, you dabble in Real Housewives. I don't dabble in reality TV at all.
Yeah, I would love to know that, like, your top 5. Like, if someone's going into
someone who doesn't want to.
Yeah. But also, what are you obsessing over? Kind of a 2-part question. Answer whatever.
Yeah.
I'm a recent convert, actually.
Oh wow.
When I was younger and like appointment TV was more of a thing, I would watch everything on a certain night, especially like with my parents. But I kind of left that behind, because quite honestly, reality TV for a long time would make me like very upset. Like I would get attached to like a random stranger who doesn't technically have any talents, and then be so upset when they were upset as well. And it's like,
where's the justice?
I will say I used to watch like the Big Brother live feeds when I was like 15. And I'm like, that's weird. Why was I paying $11.99 a month so I could watch CBS Big Brother live feeds?
I'm fascinated by that. I think it's really fun that there are so many reality TV shows now where there's like extra credit. 20%. Like it's just so much to watch. Big Brother obviously is the biggest one, and then like I tried to watch Love Island. It comes on every night, so it's like that's just a lot.
Like the UK one, or
it's just a lot. Oh, that's a relationship in of itself. Like I can't be dating Love Island.
Yeah. But what got me back into reality TV recent-ishly, like a year or two ago, was watching The Traitors, because that is a amalgamation of a lot of other reality TV stars brought together to compete with each other. And that reminded me, oh my gosh, I love Survivor. And so I started watching Survivor again. I'm hooked on Survivor. It's a very fun show for people who are like, I was intimidated because everyone who's on Survivor is like, I saw this on season 40, episode 6, of course, and everyone's like, yeah, obviously you have the entire show memorized.
Like fans intense, such a fan of, like, I
don't know anything, and so it's fun for me to be like, what is gonna happen, like what is going on.
So you just started this season, right? Like you just jumped in, you didn't do any research prior?
I jumped in last season, which was an excellent season. Nothing went according to plan, and that makes it harder for me to get emotionally attached to people, because it's just like, what's gonna happen?
No one knows. Okay.
Do you think you're gonna go back and watch old seasons, or are you just like in it? Because that's, I think, what intimidates me by it too, is I'm like, there's a lot. Like there's a lot. I'd want to get caught up, and that sounds terribly stressful. So
no, I honestly don't think so. And it's like it's completely digestible.
You don't have to either. It's not like a TV show. Like you don't need to. You know the vibes, the story.
Yeah. And I'm so obsessed with being able to like talk about stuff that I'm like,
Like
I'm not gonna
present-
watch a season that everyone's not talking about.
Right.
Well, that's
right.
true. Yeah. You can't. It's like live tweeting it. That's what like we miss about like Succession. At least what I miss. I think The Penguin. Kind of,
Yeah.
like when an episode it does air weekly, and you can like all get on Twitter and.
I think I missed with in terms of reality TV is the hashtags of like you could just
Yeah.
always click a hashtag and you can see what everyone's talking about. But now I log on Twitter and someone's gonna be like, that was fucking crazy. And I'm like, wait, so did someone die or is someone watching like a football team, like a football game? Like I don't know what's happening. This is a really broad.
What are you
like what are
Oh
we
my God.
watching? Yeah. The Succession Sundays though when it was very epic.
I'm trying to get everyone to watch Dr. Odyssey with me.
Okay,
because
I saw that clip.
There was a throuple happening.
I saw like season what?
6 episodes in. 6 episodes in.
Hey, get rid of the
Oh wait, yeah, no. Shonda Rhimes, is she involved in this project at all?
It's
or is it
it's worse. It's Ryan Murphy.
So funny.
This is my like prediction. What I think the next renaissance will be is network television.
Yeah,
Is
you know
that-
what? You're right.
and say that. My God, I hope and pray.
People love.
They're giving the man who made Glee license to do all of like almost not all, but like a lot of ABC's like primetime shows. If you guys need to watch, I don't know. I don't want to say you need to watch 911 because we're already like 8 seasons.
My mom loves 911.
No, I'm really into Interview with the Vampire. That's like my media of choice. All of the Interview with the Vampire fans are watching 911.
Yes.
They just recreate a Risky Business. There's like 8
yes
couples on the show. That's what I said.
yes
I'm gonna watch. Is this the Angela Bassett one?
yes
Yes.
Great. The fan. If you have like 20-year-old girls tweeting about your show, you've made it.
You have the culture. Yeah.
You.
Which is so silly to me because it's like my mom watches that show, and
it baffles me. I'm just so baffled that it's on network TV because the things that happen are so wild. There's not 1 minute of peace in that show. Like, are you guys familiar with B NATO?
Oh my God, I know the name, but I don't know any of the lore. I know the name.
The season premiere of 911, there was a 3-episode arc about a bee tornado.
Yes.
And
the silence.
I mean, that's all you need to know. That's all you need to know. That's what they're doing.
On the season opener, like their budget is crazy.
Yes, you just don't think that that's gonna be what like networks will say. You know, it's like it comes on up against like the Chicago universe of like I love a procedural, love a Dick Clark production, but you just wouldn't think that the show about a tornado of bees would be like the number one thing to go up against that. But I think that people are yearning for something wild, and a little bit predictable
production as well. So he's kind of
that's wild. I will say I'm based over here in Europe,
and also Gwyneth Paltrow's husband. So sorry.
So a lot of so there's high stakes involved. But I'm based in Europe right now, and the people that I'm talking about, they also mentioned that they are watching Chicago PD. Yes, and that's why I was like, this is hilarious because people with VPNs are watching. Like they are tuning in, like Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, Law and Order, which Dan from Veep is in the new Law and Order, so I'm watching. So I'm there, and I'll definitely tell them to plug into 911 because this is critical.
Procedural is really satisfying. Like it really is. It's very soothing to keep up with something week by week and like to know.
It does remind me of like. I mean, we see like streaming services are kind of going through it right now too. So it is kind of interesting that that's what we might be going back to. And it feels like nostalgic, I guess. Like, watching, for me at least, like a TV tray, eating dinner with my family, watching the latest, Instate Edition, and then whatever cop show is airing at the time. Like,
I do love things that have endings, but somehow feel never ending. Like there's like 40 seasons, but every episode is like Law and Order SVU. There's always something at the end. You'll always know how it's resolved, and you'll always have the next episode.
Love it.
That's
What
crazy.
else
People
then
can-
are you obsessed with besides the?
Oh
you-
yes.
What are you consuming? Any
Yeah,
weird?
like give it to us.
What am I obsessed with? I'm obsessed with so many things right now. I'm trying to watch all of the Netflix holiday movies.
Fun.
I'm trying to watch all of the potential award season movie nominees.
So
Um,
stressful.
No,
It's
it's a full-time job. Like God,
no,
has
Val and I
everyone
are
seen
like,
Anora?
see,
Has everyone
everybody's seen
Anora?
Anora, apparently. Like, that's what makes me
Yeah.
mad too, is when people have, like, somebody has seen Nosferatu already, and I still haven't seen Anora. I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
let's slow down. Like, one
Yeah.
thing at a time. It's gonna get crazy.
Um,
So,
and I just have constant FOMO. I'm like, someone saw Nosferatu, it wasn't
I know.
me.
No, I know. I almost drove
Genuinely.
4 hours to Minnesota to watch Gladiator.
Here's what I'll say about Wicked and Gladiator. I am
Yeah.
purposefully avoiding seeing it until it can be a huge
I think
cultural
you're right.
thing.
The event of it. Yeah.
Mm.
It's just more of a yes, exactly. I'm like,
I gotta
I
start
always
telling
think
myself that so I don't get FOMO, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Like
Well,
right.
I think we're always trying to recreate like the experience of Spirit Week, and that's why like Barbenheimer was a big thing,
That's
and like now we've
such a
got
good
this going
point.
on.
That's so good. It's the Spirit
Yeah.
Week, and then what was that day in school where everyone had to like go outside for the whole day and like did activities?
Like field day.
Field day, yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's everyone
Oh.
joining a run club and like touching
That's
grass, living in a big city. It's like, so you guys just want field day, is what I'm hearing
Yeah.
from you. This is so true. This is like movie. It's AMC Spirit Week.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so
Genuinely.
jealous of the popcorn buckets that they have for Gladiator. Like, can you get me one? I miss AMC.
I can,
Like,
because Cinemark, I famously don't have an AMC in Iowa. So Cinemark
Oh,
actually
really?
came through, and I'll have one. That's the one I'll go to.
One of my big claim to fame recently is that when the Wolverine popcorn bucket was coming out, I was like, who makes these? And I found the guy who made the Dune popcorn bucket.
That's
And he was
very cool.
okay,
I was like,
we're posting that interview on our story.
Yeah, I was
Go to
gonna
our
say,
socials
like,
right now. Pause this.
yeah.
Go scroll.
Yeah.
Link in bio.
How do you
Oh
even
my
get
God.
into that as a craft? Love that.
so
That's
it's
so
like
fun.
AMC has a merchandising team and they have always made
Right.
stuff. But this guy works for a company who doesn't just like he doesn't just work with movie theaters. He said most of his products are for like theme parks. So like fun cups at
Oh, that
Disney
makes
World
sense.
and
Right.
stuff like
Yeah.
that. And so when people started coming back to the theater and the theater started getting more engaged, the first thing they made was there was like a Star Wars popcorn bucket that went pretty viral, and then I think maybe the pandemic happened and people kind of stopped doing that. But then they came back. They were like, "Let's do it again. Let's do it again."
Wait,
And
the Star Wars one, you're so right. I remember
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then the June one, I was like, "Did you intend to make it look,
That's
Like,
important.
suggestive?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "I can't be held accountable for what anyone else is doing
Oh.
with the bucket."
The legal has spoken to him 10 times.
Yeah.
He was like, after me, I cannot be held responsible for what people are doing.
It was really funny. He was like smiling and laughing when I was
Aw.
talking to him, and so that he was just like, it's so funny. But they go through so many different designs of it wouldn't just be like the worm's mouth. It might be like the worm wrapped around something, or like the pain box you put your hand in, and like
It should have been that.
No, I think
He
I'm
really
glad it is
would've
what it is,
loved.
but it's like, how did it go through that?
Right. Well,
What is-
that's the one they landed on. That's what blows my mind. Like, that wasn't the draft.
Honestly, like watching the Mona Lisa be created, like honestly.
Right, and
What
would
it
it have had the cultural
no.
impact if it's
No, I think it has to be. It's revived that concept a lot too. Kelsey, we have to ask you an important question before you go. Have you seen Jackie 2016?
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes, of
Thank you.
course.
Okay, thoughts.
But everybody
one of-
has, and
I know, and that's wild to me. And now what is the director called his like trio of
Pablo
movies? It's
Larraín.
like
with Spencer Maria. Yeah.
yes, I'm I'm so excited to see Maria the Women trilogy or whatever.
The women,
The
my
three
little
women. Like,
My Little Women. Yeah, I love Jackie. One of the most accents ever. I would say.
That's but to be fair, quite real life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like, damn,
Yeah.
she sounded
I
like
don't know what's going on
crazy.
in the 50s.
The Transatlantic.
Yeah, bring it
Yes,
back.
I love the score. I used to listen
Mm-hmm.
to the score a lot more back in the day. Now I only listen to the Challenger score, but and I used to love the Jackie
Grammy
score,
nominated.
and I really want to
Your
watch it
range
again.
is impeccable. You listen to
Yeah.
Challengers and the Jackie score in like the same lifetime. Not many people can say that. Not many people can say you should pat yourself on the back for that. That's called taste.
Thank you.
Curation.
Thank you.
Love.
I have many interests, from loud techno sounds to gentle
Just
Brett
instrumental.
Racer?
Yeah.
Or
The Camelot like theme songs. Yeah.
yeah. That's so
beautiful. That's really beautiful.
But it's November, so I will have to be listening to, or not listening to, I'll be watching the movie again.
Yeah,
when on
that's so
March.
true. Actually, ooh, weird that that's an anniversary watch, but
I like to program, like I'm like, okay, I really want to watch The Holdovers again, but I'm like, I have to wait till
I know I have to wait.
Christmas.
I've seen the whole
I wanna-
movie one
Wait.
time because I watched it during the holidays.
yeah.
I haven't seen it again yet.
Yeah.
And I want to watch Snowpiercer again, but I have to wait till New Year's
Ooh,
because
yeah.
it's a New Year's movie.
Yeah.
That's
It's
so
like,
cool.
okay.
That
We
is
were
a
just
New Year's
discussing
movie.
this about like Little Woman, like the 2019 version. It's like, I think that's like a November 1st until New Year's. Like you
Yes.
can watch it any time in there. It doesn't
Yes,
fit
they-
a certain holiday. And that's
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yes.
We need more films like that. Thank you,
Well,
Grant.
what's another one that you'll watch like November to December? I'm trying to think of like underrated ones
I mean,
that are like
I think
opposite.
Fan of Thread I would watch until the end of January.
Yeah.
Band of Thread is a good one.
I would just watch that. I love that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, and then it's like, okay, well, you can't watch Call Me by Your Name and if it's not in the summer. Like
100%.
Call Me by Your Name and Aquamarine. They had their moments this summer. Sorry, that's I'm not gonna watch that in December. What am I, insane?
No, right. That's crazy. Imagine making a movie and this is like what people talk about. Like Luca's like, okay. Like,
Yeah,
please
because like so that's it.
one of my favorite movies of the year is Baby Girl, which unfortunately, I'm sorry I'm saying that because it's not out yet, but that is a Christmas movie. Like it is set.
I heard the bells in the
Jingles
trailer. I heard the
Yes.
bells.
Yes.
I hear the bells.
I can hear the bells.
I'm like in the
Wait, the I have viewing FOMO though. You talking about we have FOMO for you?
Yeah.
You, Baby Girl, are you kidding me? God,
I
you
hate
buried the
doing
lead.
that.
You
I know,
buried
I
the
hate-
lead.
It's like so exciting to see something early, and then you just have to sit with your own thoughts for
Right.
so long.
Right.
But it is a joy. I love it. It's just like, wow, I'm like I'm in like in a little cage clawing at my enclosure wanting to talk about Baby Girl. Which is it's actually like a December 21st movie. So looking forward to scheduling that into
Going
my
to see
life.
Baby Girl on Christmas Day. Love it. Like actually,
Yeah.
that's what I need to take my family.
Do not
to.
go with
I'll
your
take my
parents.
lead.
We get known and we'll go see Baby Girl. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like I feel like it's gonna be. I feel like people aren't going to know that because they're gonna see Nicole Kidman, and obviously moms love Nicole Kidman.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's gonna be a Saltburn situation again when people are gonna be like, "Oh,
Yes.
yeah, I love these actors. Let's just go see them," and then
You get the freak on.
something's gonna happen.
Make
that
sure
they're
you
not
put your
gonna
price
want to see.
this Christmas.
I've had to advise a lot of people specifically who have asked, like, should I see that with my family? And I'm like, no.
Oh.
And probably don't see Nosferatu either. It's actually
Yeah. I've heard it's quite.
Wait.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've heard it's sexier than the Francis Ford one, which is quite a statement.
which is
Yeah.
why
Oh, I didn't know.
Dracula the book is a little steamy. So
I mean, I think
I'm always
vampires in general, like, yeah, good for them.
Dracula's like
about
my
it.
number one vampire, and that's like not for me to be like, I don't know, my favorite vampire is Dracula, but like I'm excited for Nosferatu for that reason. Like, wait, it's gonna be like stealing. He's coming for Dracula's nachos. Like it's coming for.
Yeah.
He's reminding you guys. No, and he's been here in the cinema
course.
universe
No,
before
right.
Dracula.
Yes, but I'm meaning this revival.
You guys forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I love that. Well, Kelsey, thank you so much for being on. Before we go, kind of just want to know, what are you looking forward to in the future? What are some things that you have coming up personally, professionally,
my goodness.
media-wise?
Yeah, media wise,
Oh.
us watching Baby
You know,
Girl.
you're in like you're months ahead than us. So, you know, remember it's November 10th. Glicked hasn't come out
Yes.
yet. You know.
Yes. I'm so excited for Glicked. I am really I want to see them both on the same day, just like Barb and Night. People yearn for Spirit Week. I'm excited for the world to see Baby Girl.
Yeah.
I'm excited for award season to heat up, and I'm excited. Next week, I'm actually going to watch Jake Paul and Mike Tyson box in Texas because I have a storied history of writing about Jake Paul, and I'm really
That is the
excited about.
internet.
I don't know. I mean, I know enough. I've written about it before, so I like know more about boxing than you would think. But I think that's also going to be like a big cultural moment.
I think so.
Wait,
I saw Mike Tyson said
my
like,
dad's gonna talk to me about this, isn't
Yeah.
he?
didn't he tweet
Yeah.
like he got the crazy Mike out or something? And he's like, it's dangerous when he comes out. Like, what?
Yeah.
Are you
Okay.
I don't think I think I'm putting my bet. I think Jake Paul's gonna win. That's my money.
Ooh.
Sorry.
I mean, Jake Paul is
nothing about the sport.
It's his promotional company that's putting on the fight. So
Mhm.
ultimately, he is the one making
wins.
sure everyone gets paid.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you
I
saying
don't know
you
who's gonna win.
rigged?
Yeah.
Well, Jake Paul lost a boxing match to Tommy Fury from Love Island. So
Oh, well,
he was a boxer. He's a boxer.
So-
But it's like, we'll see.
Anything could happen. Anything could happen in the
anything
ring.
could happen.
Leave
that's
it
just
up
my
there.
bottom.
I will watch your Twitter for reactions. I will not watch the
Thank you.
Yeah, note of song.
It is going to be, but I'll have to say it's going to be streamed on Netflix, which I feel
Oh.
like is part of
Oh my
Netflix's
God.
like
They're really
foray
pushing.
into sports. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
you
that's
guys,
incredible.
I mean,
Fun.
watch Amelia Perez instead if that's not your thing. That also comes out this
Perfect. Same day.
Yeah.
Well, Kelsey,
where can the Empty Theater
Yes.
Club find you?
Oh, yes. Well, you can find me on Yahoo, of course. My name's Kelsey Weekman. I'm the only person with that name, so I'm quite easy to find. But I'm on Twitter and newly Bluesky and Instagram. And there's also a newsletter that you can subscribe to keep up with everything. Yahoo has lots of great newsletters. There's a reality TV one as well that I highly recommend.
Perfect.
And yeah, I'll be on the internet and I'm happy to see everyone.
And Kelsey's
Perfect.
writing is like so good. I mean, like we were talking about your piece about Sabrina and Chapel today.
It's for fangirls everywhere. If you're listening to this,
It is.
it's because you're gonna
it's-
listen.
Like
through.
there's definitely people who do press. Like it feels very validating, I guess, with
Yeah.
Kelsey as like a woman and somebody who grew up in loving the internet and loving culture, and you can feel that, I think. So if you want to start engaging in entertainment news a little bit more, maybe, and become a little bit more educated, I think Kelsey's a good person to definitely follow and turn notice on for.
Yeah, you have like soft love. I have like tough love where I'm like, we need to be reading. Research is important.
You're like, go read.
Everyone, yeah, no, literally, I'm like, okay, so go ahead and pause this, find a park bench, and scroll that Yahoo News and read her stuff.
Yeah.
So 2 different approaches here, but yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's important.
Love that.
Fangirls and newsrooms. What more could you want? Kelsey, thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to the club, as we always say.
Yes.
But for the
Yay.
we're so excited to keep reading and to keep catching up with you and seeing all the content that you put out. I can't wait to watch Baby Girl and be in your DMs about it.
See you next week